Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the Cognate. This is the Remarkable Muslims podcast with me, your host, Sheikh Zakir Hussain. My guest today is Brother Arif Pasha, who is a life skills and personality development trainer. Arif has been training people for almost 13 years now. He has trained more than 50,000 students, which is a remarkable achievement in itself, and 15,000 teachers, 15,000 parents, covering more than 500 institutions across India, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. In this episode of Remarkable Muslims podcast, we are going to talk about life, goals, achievements, education, and more. Arif bhai, welcome to the Remarkable Muslims podcast. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much, Zaki, for such a wonderful introduction.
Thank
Although I'm
you.
still trying my level best to become remarkable, but yeah, yes.
Yeah, I mean, training 50,000 kids from across India is a remarkable achievement. I'm not sure if I can train even one kid. I mean, I do remember I had taken classes a couple of years ago, and I couldn't sustain even a day. So
Okay.
it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. Arfa, I think
Thank you.
we met like 2 years ago.
Yes.
This was after an interview, an article came about you in the Indian Express. And at that time, you had, it was 35,000 students. Now it has increased to another 15,000. Beautiful thing. I think, one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you, do the second episode with you, is because I started the podcast in the month of November. And my goal at the time was to interview one remarkable Muslim every week. But like so many things that I've committed to, it didn't happen. I just did one episode. It went quite well, but I didn't do
Mhm.
it. Right. I mean, I'm a well-known procrastinator, and like everything that I've done in my life, I just simply just,
Okay.
wail it away. So when I saw a message when I got a message from you a couple of days ago, I said, this is the guy I need to talk to because I
Oh,
need some motivation too. Right.
thank you.
So
I'm humbled.
yeah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So that's the reason we are doing today. We want, I want some motivation for myself, and I also want people who are listening to it to get motivated, to get committed to whatever they're doing, and do great things in their life. And that's the whole
Inshallah.
purpose of this. So coming to the same thing, right? I mean, what is it that drives some people to commit something to it, to stick to it, while some people like me, we commit to something, but there's no commitment. I mean, we keep procrastinating. What is it that makes people different? What do you
Okay.
think? You've trained so many people.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Zakir. Well, I would like to ask you a question here.
Yeah,
Like, what are you passionate about? You are passionate about broadcasting, and you're passionate about journalism, right?
yeah,
Okay. So,
yeah.
what drives you?
Well, I am passionate. Like I'm not sure if
Yeah.
a lot of people who are listening to this know, but I did not study journalism, right? I studied business management. I got working in corporate companies. I worked for quite a few years, and then
Yeah.
I've always been interested in reading and writing, and the community. I mean, whatever is happening with the community is something that I've been worried about for quite some time. And when I saw that there are not too many platforms for the community in the country, media platforms, I thought of doing that. So I left my job with no certainty of anything, and I got into it. But still, there's some fundamental flaw which I see in myself, that even though I'm concerned about something, I'm passionate about something, but still I keep procrastinating. Right? I mean, so yeah,
It
this is.
happens. It happens with all of us actually. Even I'm not away from it. Like even I can't escape procrastination.
Yeah.
Wherein it's all about the dream that you have, and how do you follow the dream, and how passionate you are about whatever achievements you have got to make. Any which ways, you told the answer in your question itself, that you were passionate about journalism, and you haven't got like certified to be a journalist, but still it's the
Yeah.
passion that has driven you to achieve your dreams today, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
great. I think that's what will drive any human being or any individual. So it all starts with a dream and a vision, and then a mission. So yeah, it goes on,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. So that's what defines a person who doesn't commits and the person who commits. It's the passion.
Yes.
And so probably we need
Yeah,
to
it's
just
the passion.
become more passionate.
Absolutely. And for
Yeah.
that, you have got to realize what your purpose of life is. So once
Yeah.
you are very clear about the purpose of your life, and when you have the self-awareness moment about what are you actually good at, and what are you going to do, right?
Yeah.
So when you start focusing on it, yeah, so focus
Mm-hmm.
plays a major role in achieving whatever you want to achieve. So
Yeah.
there are three success mantras that I always believe in. So as I told you, it all starts with an idea. That's how even my journey started, with an idea of becoming a
Mm-hmm.
trainer or a teacher, and then
Yeah.
slowly an education. So that's how it all started. So it
Mm-hmm.
all starts with the basic fundamental, step of getting an idea into your head, and
Yeah.
that can happen only when you start thinking, introspecting, and giving some solitude time to yourself and understanding what is going on in your life.
Yeah.
And many successful people, whomever I have met, they told that after getting into corporate, they have realized what their passion is, or what their
Yeah.
purpose of life is. Same
Exactly.
thing happened with me too, right? I had to
Yeah.
get out of my corporate cubicle.
Yeah.
So good thing is I was able to understand what my strengths are and what am
Yes.
I good at. So there is a moment in life where you realize that this is what you're really good at,
Yeah.
and you stick on to it, right? Okay.
Alhamdulillah.
Then the first secret is the mantra that I'm gonna share is about thinking, thought
Mm-hmm.
process. And number two is you should have a strong willpower towards achieving it. Like
Yeah.
I have this quote which says like ideation without execution is hallucination. So it's just like you have an idea and you don't execute, and that
Yeah.
execution comes only when you have emotional attachment towards it. You should fall in love with your dream or with your idea.
Yeah.
Only then it drives you to wake up early morning at 4 o'clock and start working for your dream, or start working towards your mission or vision, or any objective that you have. So you should fall in love basically. So yeah, so
Yeah.
thinking, willpower, and the third one is focus.
Yeah.
We should have a laser sharp focus towards achieving whatever goals or objectives or dreams that we have. So these are
Yeah.
the three mantras that I would like to share with anybody
That's
who's
beautiful.
listening
I mean,
here.
it actually
Yeah.
answers what I wanted to know. The willpower is what stuck me.
Yes.
So willpower is, I think a lot of people, especially when I look at myself, it's the willpower which is lacking, and focus. I mean, there's so many things that distract us, like, and we want to do so many things. There's a, in fact, I've known this actually on my computer. The screensaver that I have on my computer, as well as on my phone, is a quote, is a beautiful quote. It's something that Steve Jobs used to say. It's like, do one thing well. Like, do
Okay.
one thing well. Like, that's what he used to say. But I have this, it's the willpower which is lacking. So inshallah, so we'll start working on that.
So
So
you have got to
let's,
fall in love with it. Sorry to
exactly.
interrupt. You have
No,
got
no.
to fall in love with your dream, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Absolutely. So let's talk about your journey, Arab bhai. Going back to that article, it said that you're a college dropout, right? You couldn't complete
Oh,
your education at that time,
yes.
but you still are training, but you became a trainer. I mean, you've been training thousands of people. How did that happen? What transition from being a college
Well,
dropout to a student trainer, a life skills trainer?
Alhamdulillah. So I would like to tell what happened with me.
Yeah.
So if I have to tell about my family background,
Hmm.
we are not from a very well-educated family,
Hmm.
both mom side as well as dad side. So there was no any adult in my family who could handhold or guide me, okay, do this, do that. So this was missing. So there was this huge gap, and whatever happened, we had to explore. Me and my brother, we had to explore on our own.
Yeah.
So we finished our school, and after that we got into college without having any idea whether accounts, yeah, commerce is my cup of tea or not. So
Hmm.
I had to go and struggle in the college. Then the moment I got into an evening college, it was again to complete my BCom,
Hmm.
and I realized that this is not what I am made for. Okay, so I had
Hmm.
to literally drop out from college because I was not able to cope up, like
Yeah.
accounts and then business studies and economics. So all these were like big nightmares to me.
Yeah.
Wherein I being a social person, so
Hmm.
I was like, not able to cope up. So that is what struck to me, that it's just me, and what about the other students? And there are so many graduates and students who are not able to uh, uh, stick onto their dreams or realize or know what they want to do in their lives.
Yeah.
So as I was working, one fine day I had to decide that no, I should be that role model, or maybe that adult in their lives who
Yeah.
can at least tell them, guide them that, hey, hey buddy, do this, do that. this
Yeah.
is good for you and this is bad for you. So that's
Mm-hmm.
where all these things started.
Yeah.
And yeah, if I have to talk about my journey, although it is
But
quite
I'm sorry.
inspiring. Yes, yes, yeah.
I'm sorry. Before we go there, you mentioned about going to attending an evening college.
Hmm, hmm.
So what's that about? I mean, were you working at that time while you were doing your college?
Yes, yeah. I
What?
was working. I was actually a salesman in a gift shop.
Okay.
So in the daytime, I used to work, and evening I used to attend my college,
Okay.
wherein I was like trying to cope up, or trying to make my ends meet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's how it all started.
Okay.
And so to talk about where did I had this breakthrough moment,
Sure. Yeah.
this all happened when I was into medical transcription, and I normally had to go by walk to my
Mm-hmm.
office. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's roughly a 2 kilometer walk. So
Mm-hmm.
I love walking. So I was walking one fine day. I was just able to see a school which is in the slums,
Yeah.
and the students were doing their assembly outside. I don't know what happened to me. I just stood there. I was just looking at these young children who all these students who were doing their assembly, and I was like thinking that what if even they have to struggle like the way I had to struggle in my life. I had to
Yeah.
know things on my own and explore on my own, and finally I had to drop out from my college. So I was like trying to understand that yeah, there was nobody in my life. What can I do to help these children? So that is the moment where I started thinking about getting into a school. Luckily,
Mm-hmm.
I went and approached the school principal. At that time, all these things, this was somewhere in the year 2008, I guess, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
2007. So
Okay.
at that time, all this volunteering and entertaining outsiders into school wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to just go and talk to her, and she was more than happy. And she told me, "Yes, Arif, you can come and teach our 10th standard students." So that day, when I went and spoke to the 10th graders, I could see these future generations, or like the
Yeah.
leaders of our country, and like they
Yeah.
are the ones who are the nation makers. So I was like, how can I handhold them? How can I help them? So I started as a volunteer. So on Saturdays
Mm-hmm.
and Sundays, I started dedicating my time into the slums, and I used to go and talk to students, spend some time with them, have fun, and they started liking me. Yeah, and they
Yeah.
started listening to me. They
Mm-hmm.
started applying the ideas that I started sharing with them, that this is what you have got to do. And
Yeah.
even I had to do a lot of research and development as to how can I mold these children and how can I talk to them. So that's when a trainer was born, I guess,
Yeah.
slowly in me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, for 2 years it was like juggling between
Mm-hmm.
office and then volunteering.
Okay.
And after 2 years, I had to get out of the corporate cubicle. I was like, no, this is what I have got to decide right now, either my dream or my job. So
Mm-hmm.
I quit my job, and then I got into full-time training and teaching. So yeah,
Okay.
that's how it all started.
So did you join it as, I mean, did you work for a company where you were offered a job as a trainer, or what did you get
No,
into?
I started. Sorry to interrupt. I started working for schools. So
Okay.
to again, to make my ends meet, I had to work for three schools as a
Okay.
part-time teacher, and I
Okay.
was teaching social science and English.
Okay.
And yeah, students accepted me as a teacher, and they had so much fun in my classrooms. I used to come up with all these innovative ideas. And
Mm-hmm.
for the first time, I took a laptop inside a classroom and
Okay.
started showing them some videos and PPT presentations. So these were all the things that I learned from my college, and from
Yeah.
like people whomever I have met, and from the corporates. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, I was accepted by the students, and that made me do more. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
when I started seeing some changes are happening, positive
Mm-hmm.
changes were happening.
Yeah.
And one fine day, I saw that even the teachers started copying the techniques and the ideas. So I was like, hey, chalo, something good is really very happening. So I
Mm-hmm.
think I have got to start working more into it, and that's when slowly I started, like
Okay.
transitioning from a teacher to a trainer, and then
Mm-hmm.
the rest.
Yeah.
So,
And how did
yeah.
the journey of a trainer happen? Because what exactly do you teach as a trainer? Because since you're,
Okay.
and what exactly is a life skill trainer? Because I'm not sure what do these
Okay.
guys do.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
Because
I know of late, there
I
are
think
so many
most
trainers.
schools and colleges, I don't think so. They have a life skills trainer, so they just have
Uh,
these teachers. Maybe they have counselors who come and tell you what you
yes.
need to do and things like that. And
Yeah.
what? So I don't know what exactly is a life skills trainer and how are they different from
Okay.
counselors?
Okay. Yeah. Great. So when we how I started becoming a trainer is I started looking at the gap.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go to any school or college, you will see that everybody is behind marks, whether it's teachers or students or parents and even the management. So it's all about marks, 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 and the stress that is being built into the school is like tremendous amounts of stress is being generated there. So
Mm-hmm.
now, when I started doing research on this, I realized that it is the gap in skills that is not helping our children to cope up with education, to cope up with the skills that are required to perform well. So initially, I started with an idea of just helping the students scoring good marks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So at this time, we had to come up with ideas like time management skills, okay, right, and then soft skills like after
Mm-hmm.
that, we will have team building, creativity, and self-awareness. And how do you realize what your strengths are and what's your potential? And slowly started with career counseling, like like what are you capable of, and what is your instinct, like what are your inner strengths that you have.
Yeah.
So when I started working on all these areas one by one, and we were able to see results,
Mm-hmm.
okay, right, and we were able to see a transformation happening into the students, right. So that's where I started putting in more and more efforts, and as I told you that I'm not a certified teacher, okay, but
Mm-hmm.
then
Yeah.
I had to learn things on my own. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like uh, start getting the certifications that are required to become a life skills coach.
Mm-hmm.
Wherein now, if you ask me about, yeah, of course, nowadays in schools, there are trainers and there are some excellent teachers who are always like a role model to students. So what
Mm-hmm.
we started doing is like I started targeting those teachers, inspiring them, yeah, connecting them and helping them out with coming up with sessions like goal setting, time management, and how do you dream and how do you motivate the children. So these are the things slowly we started working upon.
Yeah.
Wherein, if I have to tell about the difference between a life skills trainer and a counselor, okay, this is nothing to do with
Mm-hmm.
she or she is good or I'm good or like the trainers are good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they do play their own role.
Okay.
Wherein here there is more scientific approach, a psychological approach from a counselor's point of view, right? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so wherein they try to understand what is going on into their head, and they try to understand the emotional intelligence, or they try to connect with students. Whereas a life skills trainer is helping the students becoming ready for the 21st century skills, because that is what is going to be the buzzword
Mm-hmm.
in the coming generations. And
Mm-hmm.
if you see even UNO,
Mm.
right,
Yeah.
we have these sustainable development goals, where there are some 17 to 21 goals which are accepted universally. So in
Mm-hmm.
that, there are a couple of skills that are very much essential,
Yeah.
right? Like, for
Mm-hmm.
example, effective communication skills, we have networking, we have collaboration, stress management. So all these areas. So if you talk about any life skills trainer or a life skills coach, they majorly focus upon the 10 areas of life. Yeah.
Okay.
So which is like self-awareness, and then personality development. Yeah. And then their social behavior, like how do they mingle with people and how do they present their idea. Then they work upon communication skills, and they work upon motivation, and then they work upon stress management, critical analysis, creative
Mm-hmm.
thinking. So these are the areas that they primarily focus upon. Yeah, so these skills together will help an individual coping up with academics. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's where they can like flourish in the future.
Sure. So
Yeah.
life skills is basically a science in itself, right? It has its own.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you get trained trained somewhere? I mean,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
so
I did get trained under ILA, which is Indian Leadership Academy, and
okay,
one of my mentors there is Kaushik Mahapatra, who is
okay.
also an NLP coach.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I did get certified under him,
Okay.
and yeah, it was so beneficial. And also, I started learning about life skills,
Mm-hmm.
training from Sunita, who is a PhD holder in life skills coaching. Like
Okay.
she's already a PhD holder. So I
Mm-hmm.
started working with her. I started understanding, what are actually life skills and how do you help students understand what they
Mm-hmm.
are into, and like how can they actually how can they face the world. So that's the whole
Okay.
point here. And
Okay.
how can they be employable.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I have to tell you about a few case studies,
Yeah.
so in the slums of Rajendra Nagar, so we came up with this unique idea under the guidance and leadership of one of my mentors, whose name is Venkatramana Iyer. So
Mm-hmm.
he is a good Samaritan who is running Swabhiman Trust. So I started partnering with him in this project of gathering 30 to 40 graduates, like who are, undergraduates. So
Yeah.
we get them and we engage with them for like 24 Sundays, and we kind of build their skills, from
Mm-hmm.
communication to public speaking to life skills to spoken English
Yeah.
to yeah. So all these skills, soft skills. So these are the skills that we try to help or enable them with these skills. And
Mm-hmm.
the best part is a 12th standard pass out will come and tell us that, sir, I have already cracked 4 interviews. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So that's what drives us or motivates us to do more such things. Uh, yeah. So yeah, like what happens is in this, it's almost like from past 9 years we have been doing this. So the first beneficiaries are still with us, who come as volunteers, who are
Mm-hmm.
already into big companies and who are already software engineers and HR managers and financial analysts. So these people, they come back, the students, they come back, and they
Mm-hmm.
kind of handhold the next generation. So this has become like we create leaders into the community. So yeah,
Yeah.
this is a wonderful model.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I believe you've started your own company. I mean, your own life skills training
uh,
company.
yes, yeah, it's actually called as Live Your Dreams.
Okay.
So basically, I try to help
Mm-hmm.
schools
Mm-hmm.
in bridging this skill gap. So we try
Yeah.
to bring the stress down of the students and the teachers and the parents, because if we talk about 10th and 12th, any
Mm-hmm.
school or any college that you go, 10th and 12th has its own importance.
Yeah.
And all energy will be focused towards getting
Mm-hmm.
these students
Yeah.
clear their 10th and 12th. And good results are actually like a badge for a school, right? Like
Yes.
even if I have to put my daughter into a school, I see which school has given, like good results. So
Mm-hmm.
now there is so much of stress being built with this
Yeah.
idea into the mind. So what happened is we were able to see that the students were the ones who are struggling actually, and even the
Mm-hmm.
teachers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we wanted to help this area,
Mm-hmm.
and we started partnering with schools, and we started making them understand as to what we start with a psychometric test where we understand which are the areas that a student has to be developed, and how do you tackle such a student. Like for example, if a student who wants to become a doctor, yeah.
Yeah.
So what we try to do is we try to help the student with making a dream chart and
Mm-hmm.
aligning all the actions that he or she takes towards that
Mm-hmm.
dream. Yeah.
Okay.
So one more important uh, aspect of achieving your dream is creating a dream chart. So I think I need to
Yeah.
help you as well in making your own dream chart.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
So
In fact, I think I
like,
was actually listening to somebody a couple of days ago. It was a podcast.
mhm.
I think she was talking about Tony Robbins, who is very
Yeah.
famous, renowned life
Yes.
coach. And she was talking
Absolutely.
about,
Absolutely.
Tony Robbins mentions that, the importance of creating goal charts. Because,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
he learned this from his mentor, who taught him life goals. So yeah, it totally resonates with it. Yeah. Hmm.
Absolutely, and it is important. It plays a major role because you're able to see your dream right in front of your eyes. So
Yeah.
what happened is we started helping the students creating their own dream charts and aligning all of these dreams. I mean, all of their actions towards that one goal or one dream that whatever they want to achieve.
Yeah.
Wherein, see, anywhere you go, like there is a research that I'm working upon. It's like in a classroom, if there are 100 students, out of 100 students, all the students will have a dream. It's not that,
Yeah.
students will not have dreams. Anybody will stand up and say, yes, sir, I want to become an engineer. I want to become a doctor. I want to become, an advocate. I want to become a scientist, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
Wherein out of 100 students, only 20 students actually fulfill their dreams. So
Yeah.
we kind of make the students push them to that top 20.
Mm-hmm.
And with this, we are kind of getting support from teachers, and also we try to rope in parents. So collectively, we are able to
Mm-hmm.
change lives or touch
Yeah.
lives. So this is how we have been doing it.
Yeah.
So partnering with schools and colleges is what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you train these kids, what's the involvement of the parents? I mean, what do you exactly tell?
Okay.
You've also trained parents, right? So
Yes.
so how
Yes.
is it different than training kids? What does it entails?
Okay. So now the first thing that we break is the mindset of most of the parents, right? Out of
Mm-hmm.
100, almost 60 to 70 parents try to impose their dreams. Okay, like if
Yeah.
I couldn't become a doctor, I want
Mm-hmm.
my children to become a doctor, wherein the child is nowhere interested to become a doctor at all. So
Yeah.
this, imposition of dreams has created
Mm-hmm.
a lot of problem. So
Yeah.
we kind of, like why do you want that to happen? Why do you want your child to become a doctor? Because
Mm-hmm.
like because of the social status that they get, and so we and
Well,
they will be successful. So
yeah. I'm
yes,
sorry.
brother.
It's
Yeah.
also about, I think, a lot of people, they want to impose certain things because they couldn't achieve certain
Yes.
things themselves, right? Because I have a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
I mean, and she's just a toddler, but I still want her to achieve everything that I couldn't achieve.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's
No,
one of
there is
the,
no escape from this kind of a
yeah,
thought process, because even I succumb to it sometimes,
yes.
but then being a life coach,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of accept that, yeah, my kids are different, they are
Yeah.
not like how I was. So what we try to help parents is to understand the personality of their children. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
we make
Yeah.
them understand that they are not the same, and all the children are not the same. This is not a competition where you just put them into a rat race of everybody, like my child has to get
Yeah.
first rank and all those things. So
Yeah.
we kind of make them understand, you want your children to be successful. Even
Mm-hmm.
this way also they can become successful. Even by
True.
becoming an engineer they can be successful. Even by
Yeah.
becoming a YouTuber they can be successful. And in today's concept, if you see, I mean, yeah, context, if you see, there
Mm-hmm.
are successful people. Even
Yeah.
YouTubers have become highly successful today. Am
Absolutely.
I right,
Yes. Yes.
Zakir?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm not sure how. I'm not a YouTuber. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, there are quite a few. I mean, I think
Yes.
in the next 10, 20 years also, a lot of things
Mm.
that what are considered careers now would be obsolete
Yeah.
tomorrow. So
Yeah.
so
I
that's
had
also,
that point to be covered today.
yeah.
Okay. Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt. So
Yep.
it
So
was
go
like,
ahead.
almost 60 to 70% of the job that are existing right now,
True.
keeping uh, AI and keeping, the technological advancement that are happening at a rapid, speed level.
Yeah.
So we don't know what is going to remain, and what are the new types of careers that are going to pop up.
Exactly.
So the
Yeah.
whole idea here is we want to prepare the parents to accept the fact that you should start working on self learning. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
uh, promote your children on self learning, and how to tackle stress, and
True.
how to face the world. So these are the basic skills that are to be trained.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I
So we
remember.
bridge this gap.
Exactly, because talking
Yeah.
about the obsoleteness, like I mentioned earlier, I used to work for IBM before. That is before I
Yeah.
took a leap into journalism and started doing what I'm doing now. So the colleagues who used to work with me, a lot of people had to quit the jobs because they were removed from the jobs. Only few of them remained, right? Because everything has been taken over by AI. because
Right.
everything has been automated, and
Yes.
if you're not learning it, you no longer have a job. So that's
Yeah.
what's happening. So let's talk about life skills as a career, right? I mean, a lot of people want to become
Oh,
a life coach today. They want to become NLP trainers and all sorts of personality development trainer.
yes.
So what
Yes.
makes a life skills trainer? Because I know a lot of people who just come out of college and they want to become a trainer. But for a fact, I know that, I mean, that's not how it works, because you need to have gone through a certain experience for you to put that into your trainees. Because going back to
Exactly.
Tony Robbins, he was a successful entrepreneur himself before he became a trainer. And there's another trainer, Gary Vaynerchuk. Right? He's a phenomenal trainer.
He
Right?
is rocking.
he's
Oh, he
he's rocking.
is. Yeah.
But he was he was a successful businessman. I've been following him for almost like 14, 15 years now, since he started his coming on social media and giving lectures on business and entrepreneurship. So he's been such a
Yeah.
successful trainer. I mean, if you do not have those skills, I don't think so you can become, right. What do you think about it?
Uh, Okay, so this is not to discourage anybody who is aspiring to become a life coach.
Yeah.
But what I would like to tell is that you have got to equip yourself with the kind of resources and with the kind of training that you have got to undergo to become an expert in any area or any field.
Yeah.
And in today's context, you can choose to become a life coach in any area of, like any sector that you want to become, like how I chose to become a life coach for students, teachers, and parents. So anybody can work upon their own field. But
Hmm.
for that, you have got to have some experience into that field, like how I gained experience from teaching, right? And I was exposed towards students, and I was exposed towards all these various methods of methodologies of teaching and
Yeah.
learning, and how all these things happens. And there were so many scientific concepts that I had to learn, like for example Bloom's taxonomy. Yeah, so
Hmm.
these are all the tools that are essential for you to become a very very good
Yeah.
life coach, or any expert in that particular field.
Hmm.
So yeah, okay,
Yeah.
so you have got to stick onto it. It's not a cakewalk,
Yeah.
and you have got to put in lots and lots of efforts, and trust me, there
Hmm.
is a bright future for the ones who are aspiring to become a life coach, because the statistics say that, and even the national education policy,
Hmm.
which was recently like from 2019 and 2020, if you just read that and try to understand, even there is more emphasis on skills. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so even there is this paradigm shift that is happening from
Hmm.
rote method learning and teaching to which is more like outcome based, and the learning outcome and learning objective based.
Yeah.
So what I want to tell here is equip yourself, and
Hmm.
there is a bright future for
Hmm.
life coaching,
Yeah.
especially in the education sector, and even I would like to say that the teachers, right? Okay, who
Hmm.
are already the teachers in schools, they can start learning all these new skills. Like
Yeah.
during pandemic,
Hmm.
even a 60-year-old teacher had to learn how to use Zoom, right?
Yeah.
Okay, how to conduct meetings online. Yeah, so
True.
this is what we have been telling teachers from a very long time, that we should be future ready. Okay, equip yourself, enable yourself with skills, with the professional
Yeah.
skills that are required, because that will finish the gap between the age gap that is there and the technological gap that is there,
Hmm.
and students are able to connect with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talking about pandemic, how
Hmm.
did you manage to
Oh,
continue coaching people? Was it difficult for you? I mean, did you have the same number of students that you had before, because the schools were shut down, right? How did
yeah,
you cope up with
that
that?
was challenging.
Yeah.
That was pretty challenging because of pandemic and the lockdown. The schools are shut, right? Okay,
Hmm.
but still, what happened is I couldn't travel anywhere. If not, it's
Hmm.
like I keep traveling across Kashmir to
Yeah.
Kanyakumari. That's how all these
Yeah.
statements come.
Yeah.
Wherein due to pandemic, it was like they have tied my hands and legs, and my wife
Hmm.
was kind of like
Hmm.
pulling my leg quite often. That oh, you are at home. Oh, you are at
Hmm.
home. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So this used to happen.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, if we talk about the number of students, yeah, it was quite challenging. But
Hmm.
also the number of mentees that I have, okay, yeah.
Hmm.
So we were able to maintain with working with the mentees, and I had to come up with various training programs and modules. So it gave me a lot of time to uh, what to say, brush through whatever I have learned, and
Yeah.
there was a lot of relearning and unlearning. Yeah, many things happened. Yeah,
Sure.
it is challenging, not only to me,
Mm-hmm.
like almost 95% of people whomever I've come across or met them or
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
connected with them, everybody is facing the same. But yeah, inshallah, there is hope that in
Inshallah.
2021 we
Mm.
all are going to bounce back, right? Yeah.
Inshallah. Yeah.
So
Sure,
inshallah.
sure. I mean, life skills can be done. It's not necessary that it has to be done through person to person, right? Because the reason why we, I mean, we have never met Gary Vee, but we still
Yeah.
learn so many things from him because of his videos.
Yes.
So
Yes.
and that's
Exactly.
anyways. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, the pandemic is going to remain for a long time.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean that's the way it is. I mean, you still have different avenues through which you can train people, train kids.
Absolutely.
So before we
Absolutely.
leave, Arif, my last question that I had for
Yeah.
you is,
Mm.
could again going back to the first question that we have, there are certain fundamental
Yeah.
principles of fundamental habits that drives people to become successful, right?
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure that you've
Yeah.
learned so many things from so many people, which you keep inculcating in younger minds. Tell us about three or four, two, three, four, five, how many ever habits that every individual has to incorporate in
Okay.
their life. Like if they incorporate these three things or these four things, that's it. I mean, they're going to be successful. Tell us something that
Yes.
you've learned from all these years.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. This is like
Hmm.
giving a summary of whatever I have
Yeah,
learned till now.
yeah,
Okay, so I'll try my level best to
sure.
do some justice to it. So, inshallah, wherein the habits that are very important to become successful is the habit of reading books.
Hmm.
Oh my God, seriously, the amount of knowledge and the amount of like the treasure that I had and the experience and the exposure that I had
Yeah.
by reading books, I just can't express
Hmm.
it out because it does help a lot. And I'm seeing that this habit of reading is actually vanishing from the younger generation or many individuals. So if you
Yes.
want to become successful, start with reading books. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, there are many self-help books, and then also if you want to become an expert in any field, okay,
Hmm.
right, try to start reading books which are related to that specific field. Like if you see my collection of books, it is more to do with life skills and self-help books and how does our mind work and great. So these are all the kinds of books that I kind of
Yeah.
collect. Wherein if you want to become an expert in any field, start reading books. So that is one habit that I would definitely recommend any student or
Yeah.
anybody out
Yeah.
there. So that is one big thing. And the second habit is time management. You
Hmm.
should be punctual and right, like I was a late Latif,
Hmm.
always late most of the time. So there are some breakthrough moments, right, in your life where you
Yeah.
learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
And so one such mistake made me realize the importance of time. But from that time, Alhamdulillah, I have managed being on time or sometimes being before times. There are times when I go and the students then come to the training program. So yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, Managing time is of utmost importance. So cultivate a habit of managing time, and even in Islam also, if you see, it's more to do with time management, with our salah
True.
and
Yes.
all this thing. Great. I'm not so scholarly, but then still, just
Yeah. I mean,
good. And the third habit. Okay, sorry, brother.
that's absolutely
So about the third habit that I would like to tell is about goal setting.
yeah.
Like stick on to uh, creating goals. Every 6 months, check on your goals,
Hmm.
like how much have you achieved and what have you done, what have you not done, and kind of try to retrospect as to what went wrong and how can you correct it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
because we all keep learning from our mistakes. If you
True.
ask me, there are thousands of mistakes that I have committed, and but I keep trying. So it's more to do with how much you try. So
Hmm.
uh, start working on your goals. So that is very important.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the three basic habits that I have,
Yeah.
and one big habit that I have is of dreaming. Okay, so
Yeah.
keep dreaming, inshallah. I can't say it as a
Inshallah.
habit, but that is,
Hmm.
say like dream big and inshallah. Yeah, there
Yeah.
are possibilities that see.
Inshallah. Yeah.
My basic funda is our mind keeps thinking. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Yeah.
and it keeps thinking. Thoughts are just coming in and going out of your head, and predominantly almost 90 plus percentage of thoughts are negative. So when you are when it is inevitable, like you can't avoid thinking, then why don't
Mm-hmm.
you start thinking big, right? Okay, and why don't you start
Absolutely.
dreaming big, inshallah? You never
Inshallah.
know, what might
Sure.
click. So dream
Yeah.
big and achieve big. So
Sure.
these are the three
Sure.
things that I wanted to share with
Absolutely,
you.
such
Thank
such
you.
a beautiful thing. I mean, it's so basic, but it's still, it's so difficult to follow, right? So that's what makes
Yep.
it such a phenomenal thing. Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank
Arif bhai.
you.
This is our second episode, like I mentioned you.
Yeah.
So this is the Remarkable Muslims podcast, and people who are listening to us, please do subscribe to our channel. It's the Cognate. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and we also have a website. We've been running this for past 2 years, thecognate.com. Do like this video, share it, and help us keep motivated to keep continue doing this. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
You're
Walaikum
welcome.
assalam, and see you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, Zakir, for having me with you. And it was such a wonderful talk that we had. Yeah.
Thank you
So we
so much.
poured out our hearts, I guess.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye
Thank you.
bye. And
Bye bye.
assalamu alaikum. See you.
Walaikum salam.